FlossTube friends. Well, twice in 1 month we are honoured, and that means we're doing exceptionally well. So today is New Year's Eve, so I thought it was quite appropriate at this point of the time, or this point of the year, to do my end of year 2017. And I've seen a lot of people doing this one. So basically what I'm doing is the tag that Jessie Marie Does Stuff uploaded. Now I'm pretty sure that although she did it this year, I think it was actually created last year. And it was created and written by 30 plus members of FlossTube. So the questions actually came from the people of FlossTube, and she just collated it all and put it out there. So I thought, what better one to do than the end of year tag. So I'll do my very best. Some of these questions I don't think are going to apply to me, but most of them I think will. So here we go. This is all exciting stuff, because a lot of the answers to these questions actually made me realise you know, how my year's gone, so it's quite enlightening. So anyway, here we go. So questions, so they're in sets, so I'll do them in the sets, and some bits go faster than others, so we'll see how we do. So let me just, let's move this a little. That's it. And I'm sorry, but it sounds like it's about to start raining, so if it gets really noisy, I apologise. Okay, so favourites and least favourites. So favourites and least favourite whips. So my favourite whip by far is definitely my Chatelaine Evening in the Park. Where I've got pictures, I'll upload pictures, and where I haven't got pictures, if I've got it around me, because I have a huge amount of stuff all laid out around me to show as I go. So Chatelaine Evening in the Park is by far my favourite. I love that one. My least favourite is my Motif 2 by Britta Cup Designs. Now I think I'd said earlier on in the year that I didn't really like stitching on it very much, hence the reason why you really haven't seen much of it. So I'll show you it. Oh God, I told you there was a lot around me. So it's this one, Britta Cup Designs. There's a number of different designs on that one, and the one that I was doing is this one with the hearts on it. And this is all done, oh dear God, this is going well. It's all done with specialty threads. So it's like classic Colourworks. And that's as far as I ever got on it. That's it. And I just didn't, and still don't really like it that much. So that is by far my least favourite whip. I'll have to pick that up in a minute. So finishes. So favourite and least favourite finishes. Well, I didn't really finish that much this year, did I? So favourite finishes, the only ones that I did was the finish from my mum's birthday piece, which was the Lizzie Kate 100 Years From Now, which I'll input a picture here. And my least favourite finish was the Tottenham cushion ornament I showed you from the last video, but that was purely because the corners didn't look right to me, so I was a bit fussy about the corners. Other than that, it was fine. But they're the only two things that I finished this year. That's actually terrible. That is terrible if that's the best I could do. But hey, there you go. Right, so fully finished objects, well, it's both the same as above. There's only two, and they're the two that I've just named. New starts. So the new starts this year. Okay, I'm a bit more organised again now. Okay, so where was we? Sorry. New starts. So favourite new start is my Andromeda, which is this one. I do like that one. I find it really easy to stitch on. My least favourite is my winter white centre, which is this one. But the only reason that this is my least favourite is the material that I'm actually stitching it on. I'm struggling with the material, not the chart. The chart, the pattern, the design, love that. But the fact that it's so difficult on my eyes and the holes are so small for me personally, I tend to shy away from it where I can. Favourite and least favourite tools. So my most favourite tools is definitely got to be my new little pin cushion. Love that. And my least favourite is, because I work a lot on my bigger charts, which are all PDFs, I work off of my iPad. And I used to have like a stylus pencil that was designed specifically for the iPads and the touch stuff. And I broke it. So I had no choice but to go and buy one of the normal stylus things. And I ended up buying these. So it's basically a stylus with a rubber on each end. Now I don't know why, but this one doesn't work so well on my PDF reader. So when I sort of mark it, it's not as accurate, and you have to sometimes keep sort of doing it to get it to accept sort of the pen rubber. So when I've got a little bit of extra cash, I'm going to have to go and get a proper stylus again, because I don't like this one. But that's my least favourite tool at the minute. So techniques. Favourite technique by far is on my full coverage pieces. I do a block technique. Now I know that everyone's got a different way that they're doing it, and no version is right and no version is wrong in my opinion. It doesn't seem to matter how you do it, you come up with a way that works for you, and that's how you roll with it. But I personally have found, so as an explanation, well, I can't show you on this, can I? Because this is completed on the end. So where's my alternative reality? Let me show you that. That will be more helpful. That is alternative reality. So here it is. So you all know, because you've seen on my videos, how I do my blocks. So I do my blocks in staggers, like this. So that's a block, then a block, then a block, and then a block. Now, on 10 by 10 fabric, that is fabulous and works perfectly for me. So that by far is my favourite working technique, in working in blocks of 10 by 10. My least favourite is the cross-country stitching. I have tried to sort of do it by colour and sort of disappear over and into the abyss. The problem for me is the counting, and I get lost, and then I can't work out where I am, but that's how I tend to go wrong. If I'm ever going to go wrong, it will be that way. And also, I've got a bit of a pet dislike for this particular magic guide. So there are some magic guide fabrics now that are 25 count that are in a 10 by 10 block. This particular piece, the alternative reality piece, is on the original magic guide, which is for 25 count, is a 20 by 20 block. Now you'd think it shouldn't really make any difference, wouldn't you? But for some bizarre reason, for me it does. So my other little thing that I dislike more than anything else is the 20 by 20 blocks on this fabric. So I'm having to work out where the 10 is in that square, and then do 10, and then go up 10 and go up 10, which shouldn't really be that difficult, but believe it or not, for me it is. Don't know why, but that's a sort of pet hate that I don't really like very much. So that's my least favourite technique. Materials, my favourite technique is 25 and 28 count Lugana. My least favourite fabric material is the I think it's the Witchell, what is it that the what am I looking at? On this one, which is my Frosty Forest. If I can find out what it is. Yeah, see, this says that this linen, it's a 32 count pearl grey linen courtesy of Northern Crafts. Northern Crafts, huh? I really don't like it. I don't know what it is about it. Maybe it's because it's a linen. Maybe that's what I don't like about it, but it's really flimsy, like much more flimsy. I mean, don't get me wrong, no one likes anything that's too stiff, but then I'm just being fussy now, I don't like it too flimsy either. I like it to sort of have a bit of substance to it. So yeah, so not a great lover of that. Wouldn't say I dislike it immensely to the point that I would never stitch on it, because that's not true. But my preference would be not to stitch on it. So patterns released in 2017. Well, you know what I'm like. I'm not really in the know as to what's freshly released. In general, you know, I like what I like when I see it, whether it's new or not. As much as I do like looking at sort of stuff on the social media, I don't tend to sort of go to the designer websites and spend too much time looking at all the new releases, if I'm honest. But that being said, so I can't say that I've got a favourite or a least favourite, but the only chart that I own that is a new 2017 chart is the Andromeda by Mirabilia. That was released in 2017. So I do have a new release. I'm stitching it, but that's the only one that I know. So I'm obviously not in the know enough. I don't obviously research as much as I should do. Okay, so moving on, so to the how many's. This was interesting when I actually looked at it and I had to sort of put down what my answers were. So whips at the start of the year. So the actual whips that I had at the start of the year, I had 7. And it's only when you look at this that you can work out how you're doing on your project. So Grace Faces was a whip, but that was started on the 31st of August 2015. 2015! And we're just rolling into 2018. That's how long Grace Faces has been going. Alternative Reality, I started on the 1st of the 1st, 2016. Evening in the Park, I started on the 28th of December 2016. The High Heels Collection Soda Stitch, I started on the 18th of September 2016. The Brita Cup design one, which I don't really like that much, I started on the 18th of the 12th 2015. My Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Expression Needleworks, I started on the 1st of June 2015, so again I've had that one on the go for ages. And at the time I still had Stormy, remember the Heaven and Earth Designs Stormy Owl. I started him on the 24th of April 2015. So in actual fact I had 7 whips at the beginning of the year. At the end of the year, I had 9 whips. So that's now, I have 9 whips. So my 9 whips are Grace Faces, so that was started August 2015. That is obviously at the moment a bit of a focus piece because I'm so close to having it finished. Alternative Reality, that was started on January 2016. There's a long way to go on that. But obviously because I've been focusing on Grace Faces and they're both Heaven and Earth designs, my focus has been on Grace Faces and not on, and I haven't really been incorporating Alternative Reality as much as I should. So it's been rather neglected. Evening in the Park by Chatelaine, as I started December 2016. So I'm actually really happy with my progress with that one. High Heels Collection by Soda Stitch, September 2016. Like I said, I was using it as my train project but I find it a little bit difficult doing that one on the train because it's sort of all bits and pieces. But again, it's still a whip and it's still with me. The Twisted Band Sampler by Northern Expression Needleworks was June 2015. Again, I'm trying to focus to get that done, but because it's the band sampler, I am struggling to sort of remember to do it and to get it out. So I do need to sort of make those focuses. Now that I've actually looked back and realised that I've had them on the go since the beginning or the middle of 2015, that makes me think, you know what, they really do need to be finished now. Then we've got Andromeda by Mirabilia, which was started October 2017. We've got the Frosty Forest, which I started again October 2017. And we've got Winter White Santa, which was started in October 2017. And then I've still got the Brita Cup season motif number 2 that was started in December 2015. So that's 9 whips that I have now. Still less than 10, just. So started during the year. So what projects did I start during the year? That would be the Winter White Santa, my 100 Years From Now by Lizzie Kate, the Tottenham motif piece that I did, the Frosty Forest, which I'm still doing, and the Andromeda. So they're all of my new starts for this year. Finishes during the year, there was only 2, which was the 2 that I've already said. So it was the Tottenham thing and the Lizzie Kate 100 Years From Now. The FFOs, same again. UFOs temporary. So UFOs temporary, I do have temporary UFOs. So the Season Stitch by Buttercup design, that one, I'd sort of already decided that that was a temporary UFO. The only other one that I have that is a temporary UFO was something that I started ages and ages and ages ago. And I don't know if I've got an actual picture of it that I can show you, but maybe I'll put one from the internet up for you. So basically it was the Blackbird Hummingbird. And I started the Blackbird Humming. When did I start that? That was ages. That was when I went away with my mum. Blackbird Humming. Wow. Do you know what? I can't even find it. Let's look on the X-Stitch app because that will tell me. I think. Yep, Blackbird Humming. Wow. Okay, so the Blackbird the Blackwork Hummingbird, I started on the 23rd of September 2015. And I can't even remember the last time I would have showed this to you. So I started this when I was doing my I was going away with my mum and we went around Europe, and I took this with me and I started it whilst I was away, and that is literally as far as I got. Not very far. And the reason for that is at the time I'd never done really backstitch or black work, and when I started the black work I kept getting it wrong. So believe it or not, that section there is wrong. And then because it was wrong, I thought, you know what, I'm putting it down. But it is still on the radar. So it is a temporary UFO. I think, for now. And we will see. I will have to go back and remind myself to see how hard it was. And then maybe re-enlighten myself with it. So they're my temporary UFOs. As of this moment, as of this very moment, permanent UFOs will be this one. I'm sorry, I'm not enjoying it, It's going away. I'm getting rid of it. I'm done with it. I don't like it. So that one's gone. Don't need to worry about that one. Can you hear that rain? Oh, it's just been like it all day. It's done nothing but rain. It's awful. Okay, so full coverage page is completed. Well, the only full coverage things that I'm actually currently working on is alternative reality and Grace Faces. And Grace Faces, I think there was 4 or 5 page finishes in the year for this one. And I think I got 2 page finishes on the alternative reality. Not as many as I would have liked, if I'm honest. It's very enlightening when you do one of these videos and you look back to see what you've done, and to be able to answer these questions, it requires a little bit of research on my part. And when I started doing this, I was like, oh, that's not very good, is it? So yeah, very enlightening doing these videos where you're actually looking back over your year of things that you thought you might complete, or you did do, or that you didn't do. And in my case, I think it's more of what I didn't do rather than what I did do. But hey, it's all about the hobby. Okay, so that's that section. So the next section is first and lasts. So my first start of the year was 100 Years From Now by Lizzie Kate, and my first finish of the year was exactly the same thing. Regrets. Purchases. Don't have any. Not that I don't have any purchases. I mean, I had a few, but very little. I don't do a lot of purchasing. So therefore, I haven't got any regrets of purchases. Regrets of starting this year? No. I like all the things that I've started. So no regrets for any starts. And stopping. I haven't stopped any. Apart from the Brita kit, which I'm happy with because I'm getting rid of it. That's basically a permanent UFO. So no. Regrets of not participating. The only regrets I've got on not participating is more in the Facebook groups and social media. So the things like Stitch Mania, Cross Stitch Finish Line, Heaven and Earth Designs official website. You'll know that, every now and then I'll get on there and I'll post a little, that looks lovely, that looks fabulous, or the Chatelaine Facebook group. I just don't ever really put my own stuff up very often. And sometimes I do sit there and think, I really should do that. I really should sort of make more of a conscious effort, but I just get sucked into a time zone where there isn't enough time to upload everything or to post. And no disrespect, but I'm sure you appreciate that if you post something and then people respond to you, you have to at least put a little like or some sort of response. So by the time you've uploaded something to your blog and then you've done a video for the month and you're answering that, and then if I was to put stuff, I put stuff on my own Facebook page, and I like those ones. If I then did groups as well, I think I'd get a bit overwhelmed. I think it'd be really difficult to make sure that I've answered everyone. I wouldn't want anyone to think, oh, that was nice, I put this really nice message to her and she didn't even bother answering me. So yeah, but it is a regret that I don't participate, or I don't have enough time to participate in all of that. But I do keep watch and comment every now and then and put little likes as and when I'm on there. So I think that's my only regret, is that not participating in anything. Apart from, I don't know, I quite like the way Stitch Mania goes. When you have the Stitch, you start a new start of Mania. I love watching it. And deep down I think, that'd be great. I'd like to try that. But it's like, but I couldn't. How on earth am I going to do that? I'm having enough trouble just doing what I'm doing. So yeah. But I wouldn't say regrets of not participating. I would like to think that I could participate more, but it's like a reality check. It's like, well, you know, something's got to give somewhere. You can't do it all. Okay, so moving on. New and new to you. Okay, so new tools. Well, my newest tool is my pincushion. My little pincushion. Techniques and stitches. Definitely specialty stitches in the chatelaine. And also, what are those things called? Do you know what? Do you ever get the feeling that your brain has become menopausal? Or that well, I think I must be hitting my menopause because I can't remember anything. French knots. That's it, French knots. So, for the first time ever I've done French knots. Didn't really rate how they came out. But specialty stitches in the chatelaines. Definitely a new technique, stroke, stitchy thing for me. Designers, I haven't really come across any new designers per se. Although, that being said, I have got a lovely, lovely Christmas present that just rolled in yesterday late afternoon from the lovely Donna Murray for my Christmas box. And she has got me Rosewood Manor Spring Quaker. This one. Now, I've never done a Rosewood Manor before. See it up close. So I'm actually really looking forward to doing that. But that is a new designer for me. So all I need to do is get the threads and to make a start. So that would be a new designer for me. So, but I haven't started it yet, so I don't know if that counts. Fabric. Fabrics by Stephanie was what I started my chatelaine on. That's new to me, and I do really like that fabric actually. I think it's just the right. It's just right. It's just thick enough as much as you'd want it. You wouldn't want it any thicker. It's got. See, fabric is one of those things, isn't it? I think everyone's going to go different on what they prefer. But for me, I like my fabric to be. It can't be too flimsy, so that it's all completely floppy and got no structure to it, but the holes I need to be able to see as well, and it needs to be of a nice weight, if that makes any sense. And camera had to, didn't it? Has to stop. So yeah, so Fabrics by Stephanie is a new to me, and really love it, really love it. What else? New threads. So part of my chatelaine is working with Silken Colours hand dyes. I've never worked with those before, and obviously I do like my silk threads, and I do really like those. I find those really lovely to work with. They're very, you know, it's sort of super smooth, like sort of a butter knife going through butter. Vendors and shops. So new shops would be Patchwork Rabbit, which is where I've ordered the Frosty Forest Country Cottage Needleworks auto ship, and they do loads of other bits and pieces, so that's going to be interesting to see what else I can purchase from them. Terminology. I don't really have any new terminology. I wish I did. The only one that did surprise me was when I was watching Jessie Marie Does Stuff and she was doing her video, and she said something for hers. And when she said it, I was like, wow, I haven't even heard of that. So I'll just say with whatever Jessie Marie said, because it's not one that I'd ever heard of until she said it. So thank you for enlightening me, Jessie. Much appreciated. I feel like I've learnt something now. I've learnt something new for the year. What else? FlossTube Channels. Well, FlossTube Channels, come on. I don't have time to watch FlossTube these days. I sort of get on there and think, right, okay, I'm going to clear out everything, start again, and start watching from the beginning. It never works. But there's so many of you. There are loads, and there are so many new ones as well. And then it's sort of, you know, like when I went and stayed at Donna's, she was like, oh, do you know, we put FlossTube on. And she was like, oh, do you watch so-and-so? And I'm like, no, who are they? So she's put them on. I'm like, oh, I need to subscribe to them. So then I've gone off and subscribed to them. So now my FlossTube has just gone crazy with all these sort of new video updates coming in on my email, and I can't keep up. But there are so many of you. But then there's a whole lot more. There's a whole lot more that I haven't seen that I need to go and see. But again, you know, FlossTube is one of those things that, as and when I've got a bit of spare time to sit down and watch a FlossTube video, then I do. I'm not the best at it. Not for the sake of wanting to. Do you know what? I need to be a retired woman. If I retired, I could sit and watch FlossTube day in, day out without any problem whatsoever. But I don't even have enough time to watch what I've got on my planner or on my Sky TV. I mean, you know, I've got series links on there that, I don't know, the series is actually finished and I've still got it on there and haven't even watched sort of, you know, the second episode. So that's how lame I am with TV. But I do get on there, and I do find new FlossTubers, and obviously I've got my good old reliable FlossTubers. But yeah, I think that the most obvious one that's in my mind is Priscilla, the two girls. Do you know what? Off the top of my head, I can't even think. And I wouldn't mind, but I've actually subscribed to about 14, 15 new FlossTube channels in the last sort of month. Oh, I don't know. But there's lots of you. And if I'm not subscribed to you, then I am sorry. I am working my way through as many people as I can to find people. But you know what it's like. If I was subscribed to every FlossTuber, if we all subscribed to absolutely every FlossTuber on FlossTube, how on earth would we ever get to watch all the videos? Or would you just have to sort of, I don't know, select like the first 10 minutes of each video and do it like that? Because there are so many. The community is just, it looks like it's sort of expanded so wide now that there's so many people. Whereas before, you know, at the end of each month you'd get like a big load of like YouTube notifications would come in for all the subscribers. But if you ever like looked up FlossTube or Cross Stitch, it was always the same people. Whereas now you do it and it's, you know, you watch a video and then it sort of gives you the suggestions down the other side. There's loads of them. Half of them I'm sitting there thinking, I've never heard of them, I'll click on them. I've never heard of them, I'll click on them. But then I end up spending my entire time whilst I'm trying to watch FlossTube videos, clicking and not watching. So yeah, so that was a long answer, wasn't it, for FlossTube Channels? But there's lots of you. And, you know, if I'm not already subscribed, then I'm working my way towards you. So next, right, okay, so a mix of questions. What did you learn this year? That I need to do more stitching. And that I can do specialty stitches and I don't need to sit there and say, oh, no, and shy away from things, because I can do it. I've proved that, and I'm still proving to myself I can do it. But I have learned that, you know, to get that excited feeling, I need to do more stitching to get the finishes. What did you teach someone this year? Well, how to stay a little more organised with their stash. Should I mention any names at this point? Yeah. So, my lovely friend Mary Perkins, who I went visiting with earlier on in the year, had the most humongous amount of stash I've ever seen. Of fabrics, charts, kits, kitted up, you name it, she had it. But it was everywhere. It was the most disorganised chaos I've ever seen in my life. So the whole reason I went round to see it was to help her sort of de-stash a little, and to get more organised, and to sort of help her with the sort of the concept of only needing what you need when you need it. You know, you don't need to keep buying it if you've already got it. But then she didn't know she already had it because there was so much of it and it was all over the place. No, there was no, you know, she didn't have like a fabric drawer, so everything would be in there. And it's like, well, if I want some white fabric, oh, hello, there's some white fabric. I mean, it was everywhere. So yeah, so I think I taught someone something. And it was the lovely Mary Perkins of stop buying more stash and organise what you've got, because you could open an Etsy shop up with that lot. Says the girl that hasn't really got any stash. Well, I have, but not very much. So, but yeah, that was fun. So that was what I taught to someone this year. Did you become real life friends with the stitcher, or with any stitchers that you only knew via social media previously? No. Because I attend retreats, and that changes everything. So before I started going to retreats, every now and then when you'd sort of, you know, you'd connect with someone on social media, and then you'd go onto a Skype call with them or something, and it was like, oh wow, I've got a friend. Once you go to retreats and you meet a lot of people, it's like that social media necessity for sort of connecting doesn't really happen. And then I suppose with the sort of amount of hours that I work and the amount of free time that I have, it makes it even more difficult to sort of make friends with people that you've made friends with on social media. Do you know what? I've made more friends when I was on social media when I was off work, sick, because I was at home. Made a huge difference. You wouldn't think it would, but it really does. Really, really did make a massive difference. So no, I haven't made any new friends, but I do have a lot of stitchy friends that I actually get to see through the year. So I don't feel necessarily like I'm missing out too much, or that I'm Billy No Mates. So, are you happy with what you accomplished this year? No, not really. I think I've done pretty shockingly bad this year, actually. But I do take on big projects, and I'm a full-time working mum with a family, the gardens in the summer. So what more can I expect? You know, it's one of those things. I can only put into it the time that I've got, and it is a hobby. So I do it as much as I could. But I think in previous years, I've actually achieved more. I think this is the first year that I've achieved so little. But again, I'm sure it's because the projects that I've been working on are all big, which all take up lots of time. So, well, that's my excuse for it anyway. Similarly, what were your goals for 2017? How do you measure up to what you accomplished? I need to check back on my last year-end. I think one of my goals was to don't overthink everything, and don't put too much pressure on myself to get as much done. You know, it gets done when it gets done, and that's that. And I stitch on what I stitch on when I want to stitch on it. And if I don't want to do any stitching, or I'm too tired, then I don't do it. If I look at it from that perspective of what my goal was for 2017, then I think I've accomplished that, because yeah, I have. I'm not stressed. I don't get upset if I don't get to stitch on anything. Apart from if it goes days and I haven't stitched, I just get the hump. I just get moody, because it's like, well, I want to sit down and do some stitching and relax, and I can't relax without doing my stitching. But that isn't the same. That isn't the same as not achieving my goal. My goal was to not overthink everything and not stitch on stuff because I felt that I had to. It was like, you know, flex with the rotation, and I've done exactly that. So as far as I'm concerned, I've accomplished it. Has your stitching style or organisation changed during the year? If so, how? If no, are there any changes or improvements you'd like to make? Yes, my rotation changed through the course of the year. So whereas before I didn't allow myself to just necessarily stitch on what I wanted to stitch on. You know, I always felt that I needed to stitch on something, then put it away, then get something else out, even when I didn't really fancy getting that out. My rotation now is I stitch on what I want, when I want. When I don't care. If I get bored of it, or I'm fed up, or I need something different, or something more challenging or less challenging, then I'll just switch out and go to whatever my mood pleases me. Also, the number of whips has changed, so therefore with having more whips, it gives me more choice. I'm loving that bit, because there are a lot of them that can be sort of quite time consuming, because they're heaven and earth. They're, you know, changing the thread colours every second stitch. And then I've got other ones where there's lots of blocks of colour, which I like the mix up now. I think I've got like an even balance for what I need. Organisation is much the same as it was. You know, everything has a place. Every now and then I might just throw something into a toot drawer, but literally the minute I go to that toot drawer and I see it, I'm like, I can't leave that like that. So everything gets put away. But then there's always room for improvement. So from an organisational point of view, I think I would like to separate out my charts that I intend to bring into action through the course of the year, or would like to consider bringing into action in the course of the year, and the ones that, well, they're just charts that I have got and I'll get to them when I feel the vibe. I would like to sort of separate them down just a little bit more. But no, I think organisation will just go along with, you know, what I've acquired and what I'm working on and how I work. So, did you fall victim to fear of missing out? Where there are any projects that you would pass on starting if you were given the chance to go back in time and do it all over? Fear of missing out is always there. I think even for the average Joe Bloggs, you would still sort of like, oh, you know, I feel like I should be part of that. But I do have to keep my feet planted firmly on the ground and accept that I don't have the time to do everything. I do tend to find that I just sort of have to sit back and drool at all the fabulous stuff that the community do, and promise myself that when I retire, I can do the same. Basically. So yeah, you know, I love to sit back and watch it all happening, and I do sit there going, oh, and wish that I was involved, or that I wasn't feeling like, oh. But yeah, I do sit and drool. I am like your serious drooling stalker who sits there watching what you're all doing and going, oh, I wish, oh, look at that, I like that. Yeah, it's tough. But fear of missing out, I have moments. I have moments where it's like, oh, I really want to get involved in that. Should I? But then I do have to sort of say, no, Treasy, you can't do that. So yes, I suppose I do get it. But I do talk myself around very easily. Did you participate in any sales? No. I think I've accepted that I'm not a sale person. I mean, I'm not in any official sales. I mean, obviously, I'm in my stitch along with Mary, Donna and myself on our chatelaines, but it's not really a stitch along. We're all just stitching our chatelaines at the same time. I don't think that really classes as a sale. But no, I haven't. What did you learn about yourself through your stitching this year? That my tastes have changed. Oh, how my tastes have changed. And I'm finding a lot of things more enjoyable than I ever thought I would. So, you know, Mirabilias? Who was it? Last year? Was it mid last year that turned around and said once I finished my one that I'm not sure I'd do another Mirabilia? Look at me now. I have 2 going. I've never really been one for samplers. I'm doing my twisted band sampler and hey, hello. There's another sampler. You know, I never thought I'd ever touch a chatelaine. Look at me now. I've got one chatelaine that I've started and another one that I'm absolutely itching to start. So yeah, I've learnt a lot about myself. And that my taste has changed, and I think that must be the same for everyone. I think you sort of you like what you like when you're doing it, but you know, I've looked at what I was stitching and what I did like 3 or 4 years ago. I mean, like, just as an example, what have I got in my? So. Here you go. Now, I think this was way back. Way back. I really wanted to start this one. And I think this was about 2014, 2015. Randall Spangler, Heaven and Earth Designs. The Universe in a Jar. And at the time, and I've got it all kitted. You know, I've got all the fabrics, all the fabric, I've got the threads. Haven't started it. Question is, will I start it now? Who knows? At the moment, it's still sitting in my stash drawer, in my to be started drawer. Will I start it? Who knows? So yeah, it just goes to show you. That's been sitting since about 2014, 2015. Haven't started it. And things that I would, you know, I was only really into the Heaven and Earth, the full coverage. And then all of a sudden I've got, you know, Mirabilias, I've got Patchwork Rabbit, I've got Chatelaines. So yeah, I think it's the only thing it's taught me is that, you know, don't just buy one selection of one type of thing in the here and now because you really like it, because chances are that in 2 or 3 years' time, what you bought to think of doing next or in the coming year, your taste changes, and before you know it, you're looking at it going, well, yeah, but I'm more interested in this one now. So it's like a kid in a sweet shop, you know, that only goes and buys the same sweetie, and you know, enough sweeties that would last them 6 months. You know, they might have liked it in January, but by the time they get to like April or May, it's like, well, I don't like that anymore. I want, you know, flumps instead. So this is sort of the same thing. Sorry, I had to bring up sweeties. It's because I'm on a sweet ban, and I'm like struggling not to eat the chocolate. I mean, we've still got chocolate in the fridge and sweeties, and I'm like, oh, I want to eat the sweeties. And I'm like, no, Teresa, don't eat the sweeties. And I'm referring to cross-stitch patterns as like going into a sweetie shop. But it is, isn't it? So, what else is there? So, where was we? What was your favourite event that you participated in this year? Well, it's got to be the retreats. The retreats are always a big, big winner for me because I love it. I get to go and see the friends and have a good laugh and get away from home and sort of go stay in a hotel and stitch to my heart's content. No one tells me I need to go to bed and I can't sit up stitching. So yeah, the retreats by far is my favourite event of the year. Were there any 2017 stitching fads that you didn't jump on the bandwagon for, but you're still considering? Like I said, I love the idea of Stitching Mania, but I couldn't do the new start every day. Possibly I could look at maybe doing a few for fun, like where you do, I don't know, 1 a week for 4 weeks, something like that. It's not really the same, is it? But I'd need to see what I could do and how I'd be able to do it. I don't want to start loads of stuff and then it just sits there. I need to incorporate it, so I don't know. But I am sort of toying with the idea. I think I'll wait and see, because I know that sort of around January, February time is when everyone starts talking about Mania and what their Mania plans are. So maybe I'll just stalk you all and see what your Mania plans are and see if I can pick and choose a bit out of sort of what other people are doing. But yeah, it has crossed my mind, but we will see. We will see. So 2017, what projects are you most looking forward to start? Well, by far my new chatelaine, so can't wait for that. So my Sleeping Beauty Castle, the Spring Quaker was the new one that Donna's got me. I'm really looking forward to starting that, but that's also going to have new types of threads. It's like an over-dyed thread. And also, I really do want to get some of the Cricket collection pieces. I think Jessie Marie Does Stuff did one where it was a month, but they do like a autumn, winter, summer, spring, or they do sort of January, February, March, April, those ones. I really quite like the idea of doing 1 or 2 of those. Whether I do sort of the spring, summer, autumn, winter one or the Christmas. See, I'm not really a Halloween person. So to do the festive ones where it's like Christmas, Halloween, I can't remember what the other ones are. Thanksgiving, like we don't really celebrate Thanksgiving here. So I think if anything, I would need to do either the autumn, winter, spring, summer, or the months. I think I would need to do. So But yeah, I quite like the idea of trying one or two of those. What projects are you most looking forward to finishing? Well, of course, given that I've now looked at dates and I've seen how long some of my stuff's been hanging around for, I think my push to the end needs to be Grace Faces and my Twisted Band sampler, because they've been around far too long now. And I really want to get some time on my alternative reality, which is being really neglected now. It's proven it, because I started that the beginning or the end of 2016, and it doesn't even look like I've made a dent in it. So that really does need to, I need to pick up the slack there. Do you intend to do more, to be more determined or laid back in your stitching in the coming year? Well, I said that I was going to try and not put myself under too much pressure, which I don't think I have. My plan is to try and stitch a little more in the summer this year. I think that was what let me down. I spent so much time in the garden and then sunbathing and not actually doing any stitching. But then it was really hot and my hands were too sticky. So, you know, you'd be sitting indoors in the evening trying to do your stitching. It was just sort of melting, and there's nothing worse than melting all over your projects. So, but my plan is that I will try to be more dedicated in my stitching in the summer months this year, because I think that was where I sort of fell down this year, was that all through most of spring and most of summer I didn't really do much stitching. So yeah, so I plan to make some changes there. What event are you most looking forward to participating in? Well, I've got quite a lot going on, so obviously I love to be part of the FlossTube community and look forward to the videos for another year of the fun videos, because that's the biggest part for me, is the being able to do the videos and then answer people's sort of comments and be part of the community. I mean, this is it. This is about as much as I can give to the community right here, right now, with the amount that I'm involved with. But I really do enjoy that part of the stitching community section. You know, it's you know, Facebook and that is fine, but it's, you know, I don't really get on there. You know, we've discussed this, but the YouTube and the FlossTube, you know, being able to watch other people as and when I can, and me being able to upload mine, and then, you know, communicating with the community that way, that works for me. Obviously my blog, that's a new thing, and I'm really loving that. That seems to be working, because everything links in and loads into it and out of it at the same time. So it's sort of less effort on my part to get it all out there, and to sort of like feel like I am part of some sort of community. So really looking forward to another year of the FlossTube community. But of course, can't forget, I've got 4 weeks now until I go to Glasgow for the Glasgow retreat. Yay, girls! Woo! Can't wait for that. Really looking forward to that. And then I've got another retreat in June in Crewe, and again in September, I believe. So I've got a lot coming up, and there is possibly on the horizon a girly weekend with a little selection of the ladies. We, you know, the original, what we call the original group, where we all made friends, I think, at our first retreat, and a small selection of us sort of said it would be nice if we could sort of just do a 2 or 3 day weekend away. Whether that's going to pan out or not sure, but definitely the Glasgow retreat in 4 weeks time, and really looking forward to that, and definitely the Crewe retreat in June and September. So yeah, really looking forward to those events, but then I always do. It's so much fun. What are your stitchy resolutions for next year? Stitching. That's it. I just need to stitch. I just need to shut up and stitch. So that's the resolution. Will you be participating in any sales? No, I think I've got enough with what I do and what I'm doing. Are there any material stitches, techniques that you'd like to try in the new year? Well, I am part of the Chromatic Alchemy Fabric of the Month Club. And I was originally having 28 count. So as of December, I've changed that to say, can I have 25 count now and bigger pieces? So I'm going to trial that and see what I think of that. So I'm going to trial a new count of material. So non-stitching. What was the best thing that happened to you this year? Well, there's quite a lot that's happened to me this year. So my health's improved massively. Yeah, I know I did have surgery on my shoulder. But in comparison to everything else, that was actually really quite bearable in comparison to everything else. The downstairs of my house renovations is now, well, the worst of them are fully completed in the respect of, you know, dust and dirt and walls coming down and chimneys coming down. There's bits and pieces to finish, but they're like drill a little hole and put a shelf up. It's that sort of thing, which is easy peasy. So that's really good. So I'm really happy that we managed to get to where we did on like this year. Although we've still got to rip the roof off the house and do the conversion upstairs. But that won't be happening this year, people. I need a break from it. So we're just going to sit back and enjoy, I think, for this year coming. So what is your resolution for next year? So my next year's resolution is save my pennies. With the amount of building works that we've done and the amount of expense that's gone into that, the old bank account took a severe beating. So my resolution for this year is to pull back and handle my pennies with care. So the haul and stash won't change. I'll be just as careful as I always am. I've been getting back down to the gym. So part of my resolution is that I need to, you know, I think half the reason that my health is getting better is because I'm actually going to the gym and making sure that I, you know, work out a little bit and get a bit of muscle, because otherwise I turn into a little waif, and I tend to find that I've become more sick and more ill. With the fact that my weight will fluctuate depending on how I'm doing. If I lose too much weight and there's not enough muscle, well, that tends to bring on its own problems. So yeah, so definitely get back to the gym and enjoy life as it comes at me. I'm not gonna, you know, I'm very much an upbeat person. I don't really tend to let that much get to me. But it's sometimes you have to give yourself a good pep talk and remind yourself, you know, you take life as it comes, good and bad. You'll have bad days, you'll have good days. Just keep smiling. If you can keep smiling through the bad days, then your good days are even better. So yeah, they're basically my resolutions for next year. So that's it. That's it, people. So we can see at the end of 2018 whether I achieve all these things. That would be fabulous, wouldn't it? So that's it. Sorry if I bored you all to tears with my, you know, with my end of year tag. Obviously, where I could, I've uploaded pictures of the things that I was talking about, rather than you having to sit there staring at my face, because I'd get rather bored of just looking at my face as well. On that note, I hope you all have a wonderful, happy new year. Bring in the 2018 this evening with lots of fun and laughter. Make all your New Year's resolutions. So I wish you all well, and no doubt I will be seeing you all again in January for my update video. So yeah, happy 2018, people. I'll see you on the other side. Bye bye for now.